Hello people, well, small update on this. It's been a while since I put a video up. Of course, I've been trying to get this stuff stable. This is not what everybody else is doing to charge these batteries. Constant current, constant voltage, like they're supposed to be charged. Now, I had, let's see if I got one close by. No. Alright. I had two of these 0.10 at well, the wattage ain't on there, but it's up there pretty good. Yeah, the print's kind of faded off of it. Anyway, I had two of these to isolate these two boards. Now, it was working, but the one problem I was having was power backfeed going to solar, which is not a problem because they're actually off-grid panels that I have, but I didn't like the idea of power backfeeding to the boards. So what I did, grab me a pointer here, was add this. Come on, focus now. That is a TO247 Schottky diode, and it's actually encased in two diodes rated at 40 amp each. And hard mounted it to the aluminum heatsink that I have. Those of you that watched that video, you know how big that is. Currently, what's going on, this board has failed. It's actually shorted out. But I got a bright sunny day with one board and getting .9 amp off that board. I've seen as much as 36 amp, so the best I've seen out of one board is like 18 amp. So if you want to use these, make sure to get rid of the heat sinks, the generic heat sinks that they have on it, and put something hefty. If you've got any type of tap set, you can tap screws to get these hard mounted. Don't forget the insulator in behind the MOSFET. For those of you that are not familiar with electronics and want to try it, hey, more power to you. That's great. I gotta fix this one. I've got MOSFETs coming in, probably be in tomorrow, maybe. I do have some original spares, but I don't want to use the original. I have no idea what they used, and I kind of did a comparison and took a stab at it and chose something a bit different and a bit more hefty. But this is working out good. I'm not getting power backfeed, and I have actually isolated the 18650s from the 26650s with a voltage regulator that's only rated at 8 amp. I could probably get about 10 to 12 out of it if I put a better heat sink on it. But the only thing I'm really concerned about is once the battery voltage on these drop down to about 13 volts, I want this to start having power output, and it's actually going to the inverter. Last night the highest I got on peak amps, amp peak was like 1.7. Yep, and pulled 4 amp hour out of them. So that ain't too bad. Of course, right now I'm only running my notebook and a light. But this has turned out to be pretty stable. I'm not really sure what happened to that board that made it angry. but this one's holding out okay. When I first started messing with these, that might be the original, and it's got a mismatched pair of MOSFETs on it. That could be a good possibility and caused it to fail, but it is shorted out. But that's about it. Took my batteries, the 18650s. They're no longer as short as they were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. I did 14p on them. 4S, 14p. 16.8 volts. I'm using the CCCV. This is my third one. I just got it not too long ago. And then put it on a separate rail of solar panels. Max power right around 20 amp or so, and it's doing fine for the capacity that I've got out of that one, and plus those two. Those two are about 25, maybe 30 amp hour piece. That's it. And that one, I done forgot. Quite a few batteries there. But that's it. It's stable. And one thing, you guys that have been watching know I've been trying to work with these boosts. This is a replacement. I got tired of messing with the other two that I worked on so many times. So I bought a new one and started over. Okay, MOSFET blue. Replaced it. MOSFET blue again. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't think so. It's not going back where it was, so I added jumper leads and put heat shrink wrap on the, I think it's 20 gauge wire, and hard mounted it to the heatsink. The other day I was using it to try and get the batteries charged up because we had like 3 days worth of no sun, so I was using that, my main battery bank, or old main, sealed lead acid batteries, to go to this, and I surged it and it popped the MOSFET plus the fuse. So if you guys are going to work with these, never ever have the output connected to anything before you turn it on. Ever. It will blow the MOSFET if it's under a heavy load. I can guarantee it. Alright, well, hope those of you that's watched, I hope you found this information quite useful. It is possible to bind these two together, but I would highly recommend you use the TO247s. I think they actually make them with more than 3 pins. I seem to recall having multi-pin, seeing multi-pin on DigiKey. Like up to 5. So that was 4 diodes, and then 1 out, which would be awesome. Could you imagine the power you could get out of that with these? 18 amp a piece, and 4 boards going across? Yeah, that would be power. Anyway, Fullriver batteries are working out okay. They're charging alright, and they're holding the power okay. Matter of fact, I only used like 0.2 volts last night. Of course, I'm really not using much. And then the Itacoa inverter is doing quite nice. It's healthy. And its dead Fred is now alive, but I got to do some different stuff with it. The plastic you see up here, I'm going to put a 140 millimeter fan on that plastic casing and screw it on there, and then put that box together. I'll probably run some tubing out to some heat sinks on the MOSFETs itself instead of putting this thing back in its original casing. I want to keep it cool. Plus I'm going to do thermal control only for the fans. So most likely they'll never turn on. Unless I'm getting some heavy use out of it. But once I get that back up and going, I'm going to try and get it done definitely before winter. Just trying to work on some other stuff and get it all stable. Once I've got it stable and I think I've got the amp hour capacity, I'll switch over and start running my fridge on a regular basis as a test to see how it does. I should have enough power to run my fridge with that Edeco of 1500. It's been doing pretty decent, but the fridge does jerk out about 2000 watts on startup. I've seen it do that. But I'll be glad to get this one back up and going. It's working. I've hooked it up and tested the voltage. Everything's alright, but I haven't fully tested it yet, like plug in a lamp or put in a load on it. Okay. Alright, people. This has been one expensive project. And it's taken me a while to do it, but I'm sure I'll get it sooner or later. And the biggest thing is getting charging stable. I've got it, but if this stuff would stop failing, I'd be better. And especially those. They suck. Absolutely. Have a good one.